The Ready to Race series is not far away here in Victoria. It is to be held on the 22nd of November at Bendigo, and I'm joined now by Robert Britton, one of the leading trainers. And Robert, you're a bit of an expert on the auction process, having had plenty of experience overseas seeing their auctions.
Yeah, I'm pretty passionate about the auction series. So I go over to America twice a year, see how it's done and see how people can get into a greyhound and race it immediately, and instead of having the issues of pups and what can go wrong along the way, and I go and buy my own over there, so it's something I enjoy.
Has been very successful, this Ready to Race series. Of course, there's always room for growth and improvements. From a trainer's perspective, what advantages are there for you?
Well, one is that there's a lot of people that email us, and potential owners that want to get into a greyhound, so it's an opportunity for a trainer to actually get a dog for them, because outside of the Ready to Race auction series, it's damn near impossible to find a dog for someone at a reasonable price. So this way a trainer can go along, use his judgment, and along with the assistance of the owners, get them into the sport.
And I guess that's what it's really geared towards, getting new owners into the sport. So what would you suggest for someone, first-time owner or a group of mates wanting to get together? What would you suggest they do? Well,
first of all, they've got to work out their budget and work out how much they've got to spend. Either go and talk to a trainer and with his assistance go along to the auction and use their judgment with assistance either from someone from the club or as I say, a trainer, to get something around about the price range they want. But as I say, the good part of that, they'll have something racing within weeks or even days sometimes, rather than years.
And with the trainer, people can always find a local trainer through their local greyhound racing club. Probably no one better to start with if they don't have a trainer, or they can contact people through the trainers list. But I guess for owners too, they get to see these greyhounds run before they purchase them. They get to see what they look like on the ground. It really takes a lot of the guesswork out, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. You know, like just to watch a greyhound walk around the yard, you know, it doesn't take much of an expert to work out one that looks well prepared and a quality type greyhound against something that's maybe a little bit poor. But again, there's a lot of tips along the way. You need advice from people to the times they run, their run home times and things like that, to make sure they're going to run 500 metres if that's what you want. So as I say, get your advice along the way. The clubs will help you, but again, get in with a trainer, and a trainer that will give them all that sort of advice, and you won't go too far wrong. Also, they have the heats run the week prior to the final and the auction there,
so people can actually see the greyhounds run, get the times, do their homework, and there's also expert analysis on the GRV website that people can watch. They can get a rundown of all those heats and the runners as well. So it really makes for a foolproof way of purchasing a greyhound.
That's the good part. You actually see the dog go around, and you know, and there's a lot of people study those the trials, because there's often a dog there that gets blocked in a run or doesn't get a clear run, and if you're using your judgment, you might be able to get a bargain along the way, that's something that may have won with a clear run.
And then looking towards breeders, the breeders really need to support this, don't they? And we look at the Greyhound Turbine, who's been racing. He made $28,000. I mean, that's a lot of money for a breeder to get, putting a greyhound through the series.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe there's the opportunity there for breeders to actually breed dedicated for this auction. And then they'll get their pay packet every year purely on this auction. And I can see that in years down the track that people will go there with their very best dogs to get the very best price and go home very satisfied.
You can also look back at Me Cotuit, won the Brisbane Cup, second in the Melbourne Cup, and he went through the Ready to Race auction as well. So we've really got to dispel that misconception that it's only greyhounds that are no good going into this auction.
Well, that's the good part. They're all young dogs, and there's improvement in dogs too. So you get a dog like Me Cotuit that even though he went well at the Bendigo auction, no one really expected him to probably you know, achieve what he achieved. So there's improvement. A lot of dogs that are 18 months old, we know they don't really find their best at that age, and there can be a lot of improvement.
Well, Robert, let's take a look back at some of the statistics from the 2013 auction. Over 80% of the greyhounds purchased have raced.
Yeah, well, there's a perfect example. When you buy a pup, you don't always get every dog make the track. Whereas, yeah, there's a lot of dogs, as I said, 80% have raced, and I think about half have made their money back, which is a pretty. And those dogs haven't finished their career yet. So you know, there's a very successful 2013.
And almost a quarter have already won back their purchase price. So if you've purchased a greyhound for maybe $3,000, you've already got that back, but also the thrill and excitement of greyhound racing.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I say, that's the whole concept of Ready to Race, where you're taking out a lot of the elements that can go wrong along the way with a puppy.
A couple of other greyhounds. We've got Zalamar Diva, sold for $7,000 and has won $33,000. Also Cisco Good, sold for $10,000 and has won $35,000. So the greyhounds can make serious money.
And the good part of this too, the top 8 prize money dogs will go into a $20,000 to the winner final at Sandown next month. So
the one key point I think that's very important out of all of this is that all the greyhounds that go through the auction series go straight into gap, which there's a home waiting for them. They come from a great home and they go to a great home after racing, which really maintains the integrity and the welfare of the sport.
And that's a great thing, especially when people that buy these dogs, often they're new people to the game, and they don't really know what's going to happen to their dog once it retires. So they've got peace of mind that it'll go into the gap and find a home.
They might even take it back themselves.
Yeah, a lot do.
Well, there you have it. There's something for everyone, breeders, owners and trainers. Robert, thank you very much for all your time and advice for potential owners. And let's hope you can get a winner at the Ready to Race sales.